Yo, it's your boy Logos, and today I want to react to a Thomas Sowell video. This time, the story of the grasshopper and the ant, but the woke edition. I'm not really that familiar with this story, or at least the original one. I know more about the tortoise and the hare. Outside of old fables involving animals, I really don't know much. I'm more into like Greek mythology, Egyptian mythology, stuff like that. So I'm curious to see what this story is and how Thomas Sowell got a lesson to teach about the modern day. So let's get into it.
Just as the Rocky and Star Wars movies had their sequels, so should the old classic fables. Here is the sequel to a well-known fable. Once upon a time, a grasshopper and an ant lived in a field. All summer long, the grasshopper romped and played, while the ant worked hard under the boiling sun to store up food for the winter. When winter came, the grasshopper was hungry. One cold and rainy day, he went to ask the ant for some food. "What are you, crazy?" the ant said. "I've been breaking my back all summer long while you ran around hopping and laughing at me for missing all the fun in life." "Did I do that?" the grasshopper asked meekly. "Yes. You said I was one of those old-fashioned clods who had missed the whole point of the modern self-realization philosophy." "Gee, I'm sorry about that," the grasshopper said. "I didn't realize you were so sensitive. But surely you are not going to hold that against me at a time like this." "Well, I don't hold a grudge, but I do have a long memory." Just then another ant came along. "Hi, Lefty," the first ant said. "Hi, George." "Lefty, do you know what this
He put a hammer and sick on the ant.
grasshopper wants me to do? He wants me to give him some of the food I worked for all summer, under the blazing sun."
He crazy as
"I
hell.
would have thought you would already have volunteered to share with him, without being asked," Lefty said.
Whoa.
"What? When we have disparate shares in the bounty of nature, the least we can do is try to correct the inequity." "Nature's bounty? My foot," George said. "I had to tote this stuff uphill and cross a stream on a log, all the while looking out for anteaters. Why couldn't this lazy bum gather his own food and store it?" Now, George," Lefty soothed. "Nobody uses the word bum anymore.
Or lazy.
We say the homeless. I say
Whoa.
bum. Anyone who is too lazy to put a roof over his head,
I love
who
George.
prefers to stand out in this cold rain to doing a little work." The grasshopper broke in. "I didn't know it was going to rain like this." The weather forecast said,
What?
"Fair and warmer." "Fair and warmer?"
What does
George
that mean?
sniffed. "That's what the forecasters told Noah." Lefty looked pained. "I'm surprised at your callousness, George, your selfishness, your greed."
Your
"Have you
greed.
gone crazy, Lefty?" "No. On the contrary, I have become educated. Sometimes that's worse these days. Last summer, I followed a trail of cookie
it is.
crumbs left by some students.
Depending on where you're getting educated from, the bullshit they pushing down your throat and your mind, and you're afraid to stand up against it. Yeah, sometimes being quote unquote educated, I would say more like brainwash, isn't necessarily a good thing. That doesn't mean having more knowledge is bad, but the knowledge that you may be receiving may be warped, changed, edited to fit an agenda. And that's my experiences from being in college. And even me and Ram, we went to the same community college and we had to see that shit firsthand. So it's everywhere. Brainwashing.
It led to a classroom at Ivy University. You've been to college? No wonder you come back here with all these big words and dumb ideas. I disdain to answer that, Lefty said. Anyway, it was Professor Murky's course on social justice. He explained how the world's benefits are unequally distributed. The world's benefits? George repeated. The world didn't carry this food uphill. The world didn't cross the water on a log. The world isn't going to be eaten by any anteater. That's the narrow way of looking at it.
And the world isn't going to be there to help you when you starve after giving all your stuff away to somebody else that didn't do anything to deserve it or work to get their own stuff. And if you think I'm bullshitting, look at Russia. Look at all these other different places that have communism in, and they want to take up all the resources and bring it over to the cities or the urban centers and just kill, starve out all the people that actually grew the food in the rural areas. And this gonna start a whole tangent because this whole idea that people have nowadays about uprooting the system and we need to change the whole system because of systemic racism or systemic this and that, as if first of all everybody gonna go along with it. Second, that it's only gonna happen with a civil war. Third, uprooting everything, there's no way in hell we're gonna be as productive or as efficient compared to previously. And I'm just saying that compared to communism, compared to capitalism, I'm saying is you having people that are getting in certain areas not because of their skill or anything like that, but because everything gotta be equal. Or you have people that aren't working as hard as others because they're not incentivized or because they just don't want to work. It's just multiple things that makes it just illogical. But I talked about that before and I did like FD signifier stuff, which I haven't done in a while, but whatever.
Lefty said. If you're so generous, why don't you feed this grasshopper?
Exactly.
I will, Lefty replied. Then, turning to the grasshopper, he said, follow me. I will take you to the government's shelter, where there will be food and a dry place to sleep. George gasped. You're working for the government now? I'm in public service, Lefty said loftily. I want to make a difference in this world. You really have been to college, George said. But if you're such a friend of the grasshopper, why don't you teach him how to work during the summer and save something for the winter? We have no right to change his lifestyle and try to make him like us. That would be cultural imperialism. George was too stunned to answer. Lefty not only won the argument, he continued to...
It's just funnier because he's a fucking ant. But like, you say he was too stunned to answer. I don't blame him. I'll be the same way as you, looking like an ant or not. Oh my god, you work for the government and this guy just doesn't want to do shit. And he could just go get a shelter and food for doing nothing. And the only reason I got food and shelter because I did something to get it. Oh no, where are they getting the food from? Why didn't tell George Lefty, why didn't tell the ant with sense where all this food that he feeding them coming from? Because he ain't producing it. I know the guy with the government job working around to help people being homeless, or in this case, people that don't want to work to get food, helping them out. So I know you're not producing. I know that. So who is he taking this food from? The producer's like the guy that's talking sense. The ant.
To expand his program of shelters for grasshoppers. As word spread, grasshoppers came from miles around. Eventually, some of the younger ants decided to adopt the grasshopper lifestyle.
Oh,
As the older generation of ants passed from the scene, more and more ants joined the grasshoppers, romping and playing in the fields. Finally, all the ants and all the grasshoppers spent all their time enjoying the carefree lifestyle and lived happily ever after, all summer long. Then, the winter came.
And then they all fucking died. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Oh man, that was funny as hell. That shit had me dying. I honestly didn't expect to be laughing throughout because I know it's gonna be like a cartoon form. So if there's any other videos like this, please put them in the comments, refer to any other channels, because that was entertaining as hell. I thought about doing reactions to I think Patriot Tunes, that's the guy's name. I watched him like in 2019, 2018, or whenever he first started uploading. I think Ram first introduced it to me, or he popped up on newsfeed or my YouTube feed just because of other stuff I watched at the time. I will still watch. I'll still be on like Jimmy Dore and Breaking Points and still some other political stuff, just in my personal free time. But this is a really good video. I'm gonna put it linked in the description down below, and make sure you go check it out. Give that guy some love, because whoever did the animation and decided to put this stuff all together, they really made my day. At first, I wasn't too sure if I wanted to record today and just chill out because it's Friday, but I'm glad I did. It was very entertaining, and it also opened up perspective about this whole communism. Everybody can do what they want and doesn't have to suffer the consequences mindset and lifestyle that you see nowadays. Honestly, it's communism, but honestly, it's out there in the culture already. These people might not be communists, but they have this whole idea they could just do what they want, say what they want, and there's no consequences to it. Nobody suffers. Everything should just go how the world should be, or you should just get what you want because you manifest it, or you think you deserve it, and all this other nonsense and bullshit. But either way, I'm so glad I was able to watch this and get it in such a comedic type of way. Probably gonna share it to a few of my friends who like this type of stuff. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. It's your boy Logos, and I'll see you next time. Peace.